There is some abandoned structures here. Wonder what this was. What is it from? Was it a tourist place? Somebody's house? Look at that. It's an old stone wall here. That is pretty cool. Especially here in the Marianas. You can check this out here. There's a lot of other war relics around. Just know barefoot is probably not the way to go. There are little shards of glass every now and then that you see that have washed up on the beach. Almost looks like a sling stone. There's nobody over here. Nobody's at the beach. All right, guys. Today, I'm going to check out a beach I have not been to. I'm here at the Gun Beach. Everyone knows about Gun Beach. And you'll see it's an extremely low tide today. So this is the reason for being able to go where I want to go today. I'm hoping to go from Gun Beach around the rock face and then get over to a more secluded beach called FaiFai Beach. I've never been there. I've heard about it. And should be fairly easy with the low tide. So right now it's about, what time is it? 12:57, so almost 1 o'clock. Low tide, the lowest point today is at 1:21 in the afternoon. So I got about a half an hour, and as you can see, the reef is a little exposed here. So I've showed this in videos before. This is Gun Beach here. This is where you can actually go out for some great snorkeling and scuba. That's why there's actually the guys there that probably were just scubaing before, you know, the tide got really low. But this is the perfect spot to do that. And some people just come here to get sun and to hang at the beach. There's a few people over here. But yeah, as I said, the tide is at its lowest point today. I think it's 0.06. Oh, negative 0.06, so it's a negative tide, but not by much, just 0.06 of a meter. But you can see when it's this low, you're able to walk around the side and not get too wet. And that's the whole thing. I didn't know how low the tide was, and just looking at the tide sheet, it's fairly low, so I don't think I'll be getting too wet as long as I time it right. And you guys can really see, you know, from the past typhoon a month and a half ago now, look at the destruction here. But then it looks like somebody's doing work here. There's like a trail over there. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe somebody owns a property. But then you'll see here the old bunker from World War II probably. And then the old turret gun that faces the ocean here to shoot the enemies. Now, one thing I just realized is I have never been back here behind the gun. So I don't know how far this goes back. Oh, not far at all. It's just like a little hideout here, probably where they would, you know, drink beer and stuff. But it's pretty cool if you're into, you know, World War II history and stuff, especially here in the Marianas. You can check this out here. There's a lot of other war relics around. But then they have this. This is actually the trail that's supposed to go up and around. I did try to go up this a long time ago, but it was super overgrown, lots of spiders. Maybe it's possible today, so I might just go up it real quick, see if it goes all the way around. And if we can do it that way, that's good, because then you can do it when the tide is high. Now, I don't know how long this pathway has been here. You know, it's definitely been here a bit, because when I first visited this probably like 2 years ago, it was here. But obviously the condition of it is really up to whoever's gonna be willing to maintain it and stuff. But it looks fairly clear, like maybe people are using it pretty regularly now. Look at that. Look out to the bay, beach house, restaurant and grill, or beach restaurant, whatever it's called. And then you have the hotels there and stuff. A lot of local trees growing here, a lot of native stuff, some invasive stuff. But I think the last time when I did try to go up this way, I think I only made it to about here, and this was as far as I could get. So it does look like I can go a little bit further. I do want to explore around this thing by the tide too, or by the water. So I'll probably do that on the way back if the tide's not coming in too high. Look at that, we're basically right over the water now. Look at that, it's an old stone wall here. That is pretty cool. You know, this part of it is a fence, but then obviously somebody had to make this some time ago. I don't know, maybe it's from the wartime too or something. I have no idea, but definitely pretty cool. And then of course you can see the beach here, the trees that are all kind of messed up. But yeah, looks like we can go all the way, unless if the stairs on this side or whatever it is are messed up and can't go down. I don't know, but it is looking good. They got the fence as extra barrier protection, and here's the stairs. Oh, looks like we can go down this way. It's pretty steep, but should be doable, manageable. Oh man, that's pretty rickety. Not super strong. That's a pretty steep drop. I'm guessing people do go this way. Every step, I'm gonna just test to make sure it's good. Looks like it's holding up. I think I'm gonna step more wide where the support is. There we go. Not so bad. It looks a little rough, but it isn't that bad. Somebody had to make that. It's like composite wood, so it actually holds up to the weather. And yeah, some concrete here. Obviously the stairs are missing here, so this is the tough part. And then we're at the beach, you know, a little shortcut. Not so bad, made it down. Now here I am, look, I'm at the beach. You can see this is actually where the tide would come in. Water can get that high, and obviously this was the concrete platform that used to be able to walk across and all the way around. There was some concrete poles and stuff, but that got wiped out a long time ago, maybe even before Typhoon Marwar. I'm not really sure. But here we are. Let's check out the low tide here. Let's get over to the other beach. There's some crabs under that rock. I don't know if you guys can see. Let's zoom in. It's a little dark. Yeah, some crabs just feeding around right now. And excited to go see this beach over here. Now the good thing is high tide isn't for another 7 or 8 hours or something, so this won't get pretty deep for a good amount of time. That way I'm not going to get trapped and I don't have to swim back, but usually it's still not that deep, so you can walk back generally. But here we are. This is the beach I'm talking about. This is FaiFai Beach. You can see it on Google Maps. Now, I don't really know much about the beach here other than people saying if you want to go to a beach where there's less people, you can go here. Just from the looks of it, and of course this is post typhoon, it's a little corally, rocky. There's nice fine sand still, and then out here it's just really shallow, so maybe it's not the best place for swimming, but why not check out a different beach? You know, I try to go to different ones around the island when I have the time and just see what it's like. And as I can see, there's nobody over here. Nobody's at the beach. Obviously it is the middle of the day. It's pretty hot. There's one guy out there fishing or using a cast net. Talatsa, I think is the local name in Chamorro. But yeah, look, I pretty much got it all to myself. And that's what happens here in Guam. Sometimes you go to the beach, the ones that are secluded, a little bit off the beaten path, you get it all to yourself, which is very nice. Now, one of the other reasons why I wanted to come to this beach is because from what I understood looking at Google Maps and satellite view is that there's 2 Lovers Point on the other side. So Gun Beach over here and then 2 Lovers Point. 2 well-known points or places here in Guam to visit. And so I wanted to see how far can I walk. So I'm gonna try to walk all the way down there. I don't have any water with me, it's in the car, but I drink a ton, so I should be good. And I shouldn't be out here too long. So yeah, let's see. Let's get down there and see what it looks like down there, and then, you know, walk in the water a little bit, and I'll show you if there's any marine life around. Now, one thing I can tell you guys is it's an absolute scorcher out here today. Super sunny. We had a little bit of rain the last few days, so it is extra hot feeling today. But check it out. There is some abandoned structures here. Not sure what they're from. It looks like this might have been like a little cabin or something. See if we can get closer, take a look at it. I don't see any fresh footprints here, so I'm guessing maybe nobody's around. Maybe somebody is around. There's a water bottle over here, or maybe somebody left it. Oh, look at this. It's like a big mound. Maybe that's from a turtle, or maybe somebody made a fire. Yeah, look, somebody left their water bottle here. Just collecting a little bit of rainwater. And yeah, look, it's like an old abandoned house or cabin. Wonder what this was. What is it from? Anybody that's watching this video, do you guys know? What is this from? Was it a tourist place? Somebody's house? Imagine having a house this close to the beach. That would be incredible. But yeah, it looks like it hasn't been in operation or, you know, conditioned to live in or stay for a very long time. Lots of junk that probably was here, and you know, I imagine this was like the living quarter right here, and then in the back maybe was a bathroom, and then maybe a bedroom, or maybe a kitchen or something, or maybe the kitchen was outside, and then, you know, here was the outdoor patio, kind of hang out. You have the ocean, maybe even store some supplies out here, kayaks, you know, beach things. Interesting. I did not expect this to be here. I've never been down this way, as I've said, so I was quite shocked to see something like this. So if you guys know, let me know, what is this from? And how long has it been here? See, that's one of the things about the typhoons when they come through the islands here, is you have stuff that's just been swallowed up by the jungle, like this house, or even cars on the side of the road. When the typhoons come through, they reveal all of that. All the jungle gets kind of like knocked down, the leaves are thrown off, and so a lot of these things that have been swallowed up, you realize are there, and you never knew they were there because they were just completely covered. So that is one of the cool things about the typhoons, even though the typhoons, of course, are very destructive and no good. But it is always interesting to see things that you didn't know were there when you pass by them all the time. So I don't know how easy it is for you guys to see, but right there, that is a crab. What you can see is these crabs are basically standing out of the water because it's super shallow. And when they stand out of the water, they can basically look invisible to all the other species that are in here, so it helps them hunt. That is their hunting tactic. And if you're an unlucky little fish that happens to just swim by it in that little bit of water, you become a nice little snack. But yeah, when you look out here at the rocky reef and stuff, you'll see the crabs standing up everywhere. Always on the edge of the water hunting. But yeah, as I said, see, you can see super corally here. It's just a lot of broken up coral. Not super fine, so not the best beach to just, you know, lay on and maybe build a sandcastle and things like that. But it is always interesting to go around Guam and see the difference of different beaches all around the island. Even check this out. So you'll see here, right? It's a little tide pool. There's a bit of water. And then you have a couple rocks just sticking out. See that rock there? All the snails, or whatever they're called, whatever species and stuff, they are basically trying to keep themselves from being submerged or washed away. So they're all congregated there. And they're actually out of the way. So I guess some things can't hunt them. I mean, crabs can. Oh, look, there's like a little crab here, just walking in the tide water. But that's one of the things, you know, about the ocean and stuff here. If you just kind of look around and you keep your eye out, you see a lot of unique things. So even when you walk around the island, you'll find little pockets like this in low tides where a lot of rocks, a lot of coral. And this is the perfect place to actually look for shells if you're a shell collector. You can find a lot of little unique shells. A lot of them get broken up from the strong waters bashing them up here on the coast. But you can find some stuff that's nicer than others, some stuff that's very old. But sometimes, like I said, you'll find very good shells, and I have quite a few at home. Maybe I'll take a video of those, but that's what you can do here in Guam when there are these tides like this. Take advantage of it and go shelling and just look at stuff. If you don't want to take it home, you don't have to. You can always put it back, but always make sure there's no wildlife in it. Now, you guys might have seen one of my older videos where I went to a certain beach way down on the other part of the island, and I brought this camera with me, which I have right here, and I've been trying to take photos around Guam. And actually there's photos on here from some of my trips to Southeast Asia, and I'm almost at the point of where I need to develop the film, so I just need a couple more shots. So I did decide to bring it along with me and try to get a few more shots. I think I have maybe 2 shots left, something like that. So I'm gonna take a nice shot of Two Lovers Point. That should do. I think I have 1 shot left now. It's gonna take me a while to find that shot. It's gonna have to be the most unique one. All right, well guys, I think you can see I'm almost at the end here. You can keep going, but you actually have to go in the water a bit, and that's really far. I'm not gonna go that far, but Two Lovers Point is right there. There's people up there, I can see them. They're looking at me probably like, what's that guy doing? What's that person doing, you know? But this is FaiFai Beach. I don't know, maybe this part of the beach is another name because it's pretty far down, but I'm gonna keep exploring, and if I see anything cool, I'm gonna show you guys. Now, one thing I should mention to you guys, you have probably seen in the video already, I'm wearing like booties is what you can call them. Essentially, mine are just dive booties that you put into some fins and then you can snorkel. They don't really have that much of a sole support, so I can actually feel every little rock. So if you do come down here and you want to walk around, just know barefoot is probably not the way to go. There are little shards of glass every now and then that you see that have washed up on the beach. And of course, because this is a limestone landscape, like especially in the jungle, it's really sharp and stuff in certain parts, so you do want to watch out for that. So definitely wear some thicker shoes. Wear some old shoes if you want and you don't mind them getting wet. You have shoes made specifically for the water, Crocs, stuff like that. Probably pretty good to do, because honestly, you don't want to cut yourself and then have to hobble your way all the way back from here. Check this out, guys. This almost looks like a slingstone. If you guys know what a slingstone is, this was like a type of rock that they used to use to throw and maybe aim at things for hunting way back in the day out here on these islands. This probably isn't one, but it looks similar to one. Maybe you guys can let me know. What do you think? But it does look like it's a little home to some shell animals, so we're gonna put that right back in the water. And then check this out. There's like one of these really cool shells right here. Kind of afraid to touch it because, you know, there might be something in there, and there are certain marine animals that can really sting you and actually be fatal, so you want to watch out for that. But check out that. There's a nice shell. If you clean it up, it will look really cool. And I'm guessing that there's something in there. I don't know. But that would be a cool shell to keep. And look here, there's a starfish or a sea star, if you guys can tell, just sitting in the hole of this, whatever this is, a little blue sea star. It actually doesn't look that healthy. It looks like it might be dead. Check out this right here. I don't know what this is that's coming out of the rock. Maybe this is a sea cucumber. It does kind of look like it. Sea cucumber. Looks like there's another one right there as well. So that's one thing here in Guam. You'll just find a lot of these blue sea stars or starfish, whatever you like to call them. These are like the most common, I believe. I always see them when I'm walking right by the beach or snorkeling or something like that. you'll often just see them hugging the rocks out here. Like, look, there's another one right there. Now, I've also been told that you can find octopus around here, like here in Guam. That's one of the things the local fishermen go for a lot, are octopus. And you would do that on something like this, where there's a lowish tide, and you would poke around in the rocks and looking for them. And that's what they do, but I have never, ever seen an octopus out here anytime I've ever been out. I probably don't really know what they look like, so to me, it's very hard to see. But oh, look at this. See, sometimes you'll find the shells like this that are still pretty good. They're just very algae, you know. They have a lot of algae on them, and you just need to clean them up. Nothing living in it, it's just sand, but pretty cool. Now, one thing for sure is the water always feels so good. It's not cold, it's not too hot. It's like the perfect temperature, considering that we are in the Pacific here, where the water tends to be cold, you know, out in the deep. But even here in the shore, it's like the perfect water for just kind of sitting, cooling off, especially when it's super hot out here. And just walking in it like this is cooling me off. There is one other guy over there. I see he's walking out by the reef. And I'm almost back to where the steps were. So you will find little fish in the water here. There's not really big fish because, of course, the tide is too low. A lot of the bigger fish go out to the deep until that tide comes back in and gets higher, and then they can come back around here and forage and swim and stuff. But yeah, you don't really see too many bigger fish in the shallow area. But one thing I do need to start doing, which I haven't done in a while, is get back to snorkeling. I used to snorkel a lot here on the island, like almost every weekend. And now it's probably been 6 months since I last snorkeled. There are certain times of the year that's better, but you can generally snorkel all the time. Any time of the year, it's just you need to be more cautious on currents and water conditions. So I do need to get out there. Now, if you guys are interested in seeing some videos of the marine life under the water, snorkeling, diving, stuff like that, there are videos on YouTube about it. I have made some videos snorkeling around the island, especially here at Gun Beach, as it is one of my favorites. So I definitely recommend going to check out the videos that I have, and I will probably make some more in the future. But making videos under the water is a little bit difficult because you gotta swim and you gotta, you know, watch what you're doing, and you got to hold this camera and try to keep it steady, which can be very difficult, but it is so fun to do. So if you guys are ever here in Guam, or you live here in Guam and you never have snorkeled, you got to do it. I mean, it's pretty safe even outside the reef here. Just go with a buddy and be cautious, and, you know, always look up. That's the one thing with snorkeling and diving with some people that are beginners, I guess. They'll go snorkeling and they'll forget to look up. So then where they started and where they ended are two completely places very far from each other. So you always have to be mindful of where you are, you know, every so on. But yeah, where that guy is standing right there, pretty much if you walk 15 more feet out, that's where it begins to drop and gets like 20 feet. But here I am back at the part where the stairs are. I'm gonna walk around in the water. There's probably gonna be more people on the beach here, and just take a look and see what else is around here. But as you can see, the tide is super low because it is the lowest point right now. So everything's kind of exposed, and will be exposed for a few hours at least until that tide really starts to come in again. Look how big that guy is. Holy crap. He's got some big arms. Definitely been hitting the gym. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Dang, look how big that guy is. This guy hits the gym regularly. Does a little too much on the arm day, I think, but pretty cool. You can see these different crabs here. Look, what type of sea creature is that? Obviously that's a crab, but what is that thing that's next to the crab? Looks like a centipede or something, but an aquatic version. Hello, dude. Hello. Hello. Now, one of my favorite things about the island here is when you do get out here to the coast, out to the beach, to the water, to the reef and stuff, you really get a very good view of the island. Like, you look to the north, to Lover's Point, and then you look way down in the south, you can actually see the port. So that's where the Navy is. Well, at least the commercial port, and then the Navy would be on the other side. And then like you got all the other hotels going around, and you can just kind of see everything. You can see there's a few more people here. Got about 3 people over here on the left, a few more people there, and then more people over here just chilling in the water. But as you can see, you really got to find the pockets of depth at this point in the day when the tide is low. You know, that way you can actually submerge yourself in the water. Otherwise, it's a little too shallow to be swimming. But there are other parts of the island when it is a low tide where you can go and swim in some deeper water. Right now, I'm just walking through the depths. Oh, like, look, I'm up to my shorts. Oh, there is a fish there. I don't know if you guys can see. It's kind of swimming away. And he's gone. Well, guys, there you have it. This is Gun Beach where I am. And you know, I explored over here today. Showed you guys the little war relic, the little trail that goes up and over. Or you can walk low tide and then get over there to FaiFai Beach. So if you've never been here before to Gun Beach or to that FaiFai Beach, definitely recommend checking it out. And let me know, are there other places I should check out? I've been to quite a few, but there still are plenty of places on the island I haven't been to, especially inland, like hiking. But I'm always down to explore and find somewhere new to me at least. Since you made it all the way to the end of the video, if you haven't done so already, give this video a like, and the YouTube algorithm thinks you'll like this next video, so click here.